Welcome back to Mass Effect 3. And last time I found out that there is a reason why I was supposed to read some things. So I did not read these things because well, Alliance News Network, it starts outside of the game and it continues inside of the game. So now Alliance News Network as a separate video series is finished. And instead it will be in the game itself. So this is our first article within the game. Alliance News Network News Alert. New article on Quarian Fleet. From Alliance News Network Information Partners by Ruxius Rillis, an Alliance News Network contributor. Citadel. Where's the Quarian fleet? The latest intelligence shows that the Reapers are taking system after system at a feverish pace. Members of all races are fleeing their stations, colonies, and in some cases their home worlds. This kind of forced exodus might seem especially familiar to the nomadic Quarians, who were pushed off their homeworld by the synthetic Geth centuries ago. But as the galaxy pushes back against the Reapers, the Quarians are conspicuously absent. Turian Alliance spokespeople cannot provide the fleet's current location. They say they have other concerns at the moment. Whatever the Quarians are up to, they want it kept secret from the Council. After a refueling stop at Ilium, the fleet left no stated destination. And there are also reports of a galaxy-wide call for all young adult Quarians to abandon their pilgrimages to rejoin the fleet. Greedy and short-sighted powers will always try to gain the upper hand in times of galactic crisis. We can only hope that whatever the Quarians are planning does not interfere with the only thing that should matter: stopping the Reapers. Read Ruxius Rillis' regular column View of the Empire, exclusively on Alliance News Network. Hey, we got an email from Liara, because we passed by. I hope you like what I've done with the room. I'll let you know when I have more data on the Crucible. What happened to the Prothean data disks we collected back on the SR-1? They could be useful for working on the Crucible. Yes, indeed, that is a good question. And it's nice that the game remembers that. Liara Sony, XO, Facility Specialist. From Liara Sony. Shepard, the food hasn't improved much since the days of the SR-1, has it? Since we left Earth without a proper chef, I used my contacts to source a couple of candidates. It still won't be anything like what I had on Ilium, but something is better than nothing. Their details are in the crew manifest. Liara. Alright, crew manifest. So now we have an option. Facilities. Good food and clean ship can do wonders for ship morale, and do those annoying little jobs everybody forgets. Select a chef or facilities specialist. So we have two options: either a barman, Elie Lejeune, Southern Cajun food, beer, and good times. Bonuses: fish fed. Background: a colonist originally hailing from Watson, Elie Lejeune joined a merchant naval vessel at 17 and quickly found a talent for the galley. After 2 decades working on transports, Alliance naval ships, and then cruise ships, he opened his first restaurant on the Citadel. Unfortunately, the SR didn't really like to his southern soul food, and his business went bankrupt. Regardless, his gumbo is renowned among the many crews with whom he has served, and is a traditional staple of the SR-2. His experience on space vessels means he understands the importance of downtime, so he is always available with a cold beer and a friendly chat. Or Chef Keiko Hamada. High-quality Japanese food at a clean ship. Originally from Kyushu, Keiko Hamada studied for many years under some of the most talented chefs on Arcturus, Bekenstein, and a stint on Palaven, so she knows how to prepare dextro-friendly fare. Her diminutive frame belies a determination and obsessive focus on cleanliness and order, and she understands the importance of a good diet for spacefaring crews. Even with rationing and Alliance resources stretched, her sushi is excellent, her Nabe hotpot is delicious, and her ramen is pretty good as well, although it is really hard to spoil ramen. Well, I myself somehow am not the biggest fan of Japanese cuisine, but when it's good, it is good, and hot pot is always great, so yes, let's take Keiko. There we go. So we got that done. And now we got crew bonus, fish being fed. So there's one thing that I might want to do. Oh yes. Another thing I forgot, which is pretty important, that we should read. It is in the war room. So remember, the war terminal, well, there's a plus. You press the plus and it expands. Yeah. Welp. So, what war assets do we have? Well, we got our Crucible blueprints. Plans recovered from the Prothean archives on Mars describe a dark energy superweapon, giving hope that there might be a weapon to effectively combat the Reapers. Although not originally of Prothean design, the text does describe much of this unknown technology yet to be deciphered. More samples of the Prothean language are needed to improve scientists' understanding of the device. Then we also have the Alliance Engineering Corps. The Alliance Engineering Corps cuts roads through mountains and builds bases on asteroids. While the bulk of the AEC has active wartime duties, their brightest are helping build a device of Prothean origin recovered on Mars. Due to the staggering amount of raw materials required, the AEC has been given unprecedented emergency funding for any Alliance resources that will not interfere with the deployment of troops. And yes, we have Dr. Karen Chakwas. Dr. Karen Chakwas served on board both the SSV Normandy and the Normandy SR-2 as a resident doctor and primary medical researcher. A graduate of Earth's prestigious University of Mumbai, Chakwas's research background has allowed her to contribute to the effort to decode the Prothean device found on Mars. Some of its material components require careful chemical analysis to ensure they are used properly in the cooling systems. Well, that's interesting. She is not very important. We only get 1 as her score, but it is just one person. That makes sense. I think that might also be due to the Extended Galaxy mod, because they rebalance things and no longer do single people count for as much as an entire squadron, which makes also a lot of sense. And this is also the best option, I think, that we can get. If we tell Chakwas to buzz off and get back to the lab, then we do get an extra asset, and if we don't, then we get her on the ship, but then we don't get the extra asset. Then we also still have the Shadow Broker support team. The Shadow Broker's strength lies in her connections. Dr. Liardisoni has a team of operatives able to procure almost any supplies at any time, by using an extensive network of bribes, blackmail, and favors. This logistical support has become important to building the Crucible, as the disruption of communications and travel makes gathering resources risky at the best of times. And lastly, we have mineral resources. The Crucible project requires an enormous amount of mineral resources for fuel, construction, and maintenance of its teams of workers. Dated. Commander Shepard uncovered significant elemental deposits while scanning planets with the Normandy SR-2. When the Alliance dry-docked the Normandy, they seized all recovered elements. This material surplus has gone toward building the Prothean device discovered on Mars. Nice. Well, we have a lot of other things that we can read, but we can read them later, I guess. And we might be able to read them from our terminal now?
Commander.
Let's double check that. Yes, we have the war terminal right there. Excellent. Yes, well, let's go flying somewhere. So, this is how the extended galaxy looks like. Enough places for you? Yeah, we can go anywhere. And we can also see the major players at the moment. We can obviously see the Alliance. We can see places occupied by the Reapers. We can see Turian space. We can see Asari space. We can see Citadel space. And Omega is currently occupied by Cerberus, as you may recall. And we see Geth space. Well, I think a nice thing to do, and for one thing, we have places where we can do something. Not sure why it says that there's something to do on the Citadel, because I think we definitely can do. So technically we're still at the Citadel. Search and rescue. Normandy is equipped with a new and improved scanning pulse that can detect objects of interest. Use this to uncover war assets, artifacts, intel, and fuel as you fly around the system. Be aware, however, that each time the pulse is used, the chance that Reapers will enter the system to investigate is increased. If a Reaper enters the system you're in, flee and wait until you have completed a mission before returning. Yes. There's nothing in the Citadel. But this is the Citadel. It's cool. Supposedly constructed by the long-extinct Protheans, this colossal deep space station serves as the capital of the Citadel Council. Gravity is simulated through rotation and is a comfortable 1.02 standard Gs on the wards and the light 0.3 standard Gs on the Precision Ring. And we also have... oh, we have the 5th Fleet. The Alliance in here. Battle Group. Led by an Everest-class dreadnought, one of the strongest battle groups of the 5th Fleet provides security and policing to the Widow Relay. All ships and crew in this battle group have been drilled to a 5-minute warning. Frigates with QEC transmitters patrol near the relay itself, acting as an early warning network for the rest of the ships in case of a Reaper attack. The battle group also conducts customs and security checks on Crucible-bound vessels, although few members in the security detachment actually know what the project entails. So is the Crucible being constructed here? 5th Fleet Logistical Hub. Do you want to requisition equipment from the Alliance? Okay. Oh man. We can buy all these things. That's cool. Acquisition non-standard equipment from Alliance Acquisitions. Huh? Why does it show down and there's nothing down? Well, it can have Corsair armor. Weapon, ammo, shields, health. Operative armor. Power recharge speed plus 10. That's not bad. V-battle suit. Weapon damage, ammo capacity, shields and health. Paladin armor. Power damage and power recharge speed. This is good. Slayer armor. Power damage, power recharge speed, melee damage, and weapon damage. Backpack. Shields, ammo capacity, encumbrance speed penalty -10, and max grenade +4. That sounds pretty good. The Alliance Moly is a standard issue modular backpack system that enables the user to carry extra equipment, survival kits, or rations. The standard combat extras include backup shield batteries, ammo, and grenades. Wait, I think that means extra penalty and not -2 the penalty. Shields, ammo, and max grenades. Well, we don't use grenades. Shields and ammo is good, but then otherwise, Ah, we have a visor. Nice. Weapon damage and headshot damage. I do like that. Then we have a Kodiak shuttle that we can buy. Following the disruption of the Kodiak shuttle on Mars, the replacement Kodiak can be requisitioned as a secondary vehicle for the Normandy. With resources severely strained, even the special forces are forced to allocate their budgets efficiently. I don't know why we need a second shuttle, but okay. And then we have weapons, which we already could buy from other places. And we have the canine guard dog. Yeah, no, I don't think I want anything yet. We might do that later. Now the fuel depot. And there's nothing else here. Let's go here to the Volksman. Hey, refugee flotilla. A flotilla of human ships hovers near Beckenstein, waiting just outside the range of surface defenses. While many of the ships are small, fast escort ships whose owners escaped Earth during the Reaper landings, others are transports and passenger liners that once ran between Earth and Arcturus. Beckenstein's authorities want nothing to do with the refugees and are broadcasting a message warning the waiting ships that their planetary defenses will shoot on sight should any of the refugees attempt to land. A few private individuals shuttle humanitarian relief up from the surface, but supplies are limited. Ships approximately 300, population of around 36,000. Welp. There's Beckenstein. The recipient of the first wave of Earth colonization efforts, Beckenstein's founders had a decidedly less agrarian plan than Eden Prime. The mission of Beckenstein's first colony was to become Earth's off-planet manufacturing base, ingratiating humanity into galactic culture by producing needed goods. Meeting with mixed success for the first generation, Beckenstein then leapfrogged its competition by producing high-quality luxury goods that went straight to nearby markets via the Citadel. Today, Beckenstein is known as the Humans' Ilium, a place where new money tycoons flaunt their wealth and the have-nots are rarely spoken of. Milgram, yes. Well, let's see what we can find. Nothing. Outwheeler. A sizable rock planet. Its atmosphere is a hostile mix of hydrogen and carbon monoxide, which poses little hazard to remote robo-mining. Modern equipment can easily tolerate the planet's temperatures and gravity. Wheeler's crust is rich in bauxite and other light metals used in fabricators the galaxy over. Thuft. But actually Thuft. That's for the head. It is a dwarf planet with a moderate carbon dioxide atmosphere and rich deposits of periclase. Originally put on star charts when a human scout ship needed to discharge its drive core and wasn't able to reach the system's gas giants in time, Thuft has seen some development by Hoshichiri Heavy Industries. Periclase from the asteroid can be found in common industrial products such as industrial cable insulation and fire-resistant prefab housing walls. Yeah, so in a nutshell, the Extended Galaxy mod takes all the info from all the planets in the galaxy and puts them all into Mass Effect 3, which is cool. It also means that we have read most of these. So I should only read things that are new in Mass Effect 3, which I don't really know which those are, but okay. Of course, we do have new additions, like the refugees and such. Feynman. Hey, it's Guanghui Solutions. was nothing too interesting at the Citadel. So let's instead jump somewhere else. So I think the best option for exploring would be to go to Reaper control space because of some particular reasons. So first of all, we can go back to Earth. Why don't we? And yep, we are back to Earth. You might think that this is weird, but actually we are a stealth frigate, so we can come and go as we please. Even the Reapers can't figure out that we're here. And let's look at Earth. Why not? For detailed information, please refer to the Standard Issue Alliance Galactic Codex. Earth's orbit is riddled with debris generated by bootstrap space development. Use of kinetic barriers is recommended at altitudes over 85 kilometers. We have the Moon. An early source of helium-3, Luna was mined for materials used in space habitat construction. A dozen major stations were constructed at Earth's L4 and L5 Lagrange points, all from lunar resources. The Reapers were quick to destroy these stations before occupying the lunar colonies. Okay, what happened to Mars? Once considered a prospect for terraforming and colonization, the discovery of faster-than-light travel turned Mars into a quiet backwater. The southern pole was established as a historical preserve centered on the Prothean archives found beneath the Deseado crater. Research continued until the Reapers breached the planetary defenses several hours after invading Earth. After first destroying the Prothean archives, the Reapers began to the harvest of Lowell City. Yep. And there's Deimos. More imps and monsters there. Larger of Mars's two tiny moons had been built up as an orbital port. It was initially developed by a consortium of European and Russian commercial backers, before administration was handed over to the Systems Alliance in 2163. The port served as an entrepot for cargo moving to and from the surface. All departures from Mars had to pass through Deimos' screening facilities. Given the possibility of private explorers discovering Prothean artifacts, all baggage underwent thorough inspection. The Deimos Defense Flotilla were tasked with protecting the Prothean ruins, but their cruisers were not enough to prevent the Reapers from destroying the outpost. Population 2,700, estimated pre-invasion. Capital Asaf Hall Gateway Facility. Alright, and then we have Saturn. Named for the Roman god of wealth, Saturn has lived up to its namesake by serving as the major source of helium-3 fuel for the solar system. First mined in 2137, mega corporations such as Altfel Ashland Energy have mined both the planet and its satellites ever since, looking to secure rare resources for the fusion power industry. When the Reapers reached Saturn, they destroyed many space stations in a hit-and-run offensive. Several destroyers have been left behind to destroy the rest and begin eradicating all traces of advanced technology on Saturn's moons. Yep. Titan. Titan is an icy world whose surface is completely obscured by a golden, hazy atmosphere and is known to be the second largest moon in the solar system. Titan is only 2% smaller than Ganymede, but is larger than both Luna and the planet Mercury. Like Earth, Titan's atmosphere is primarily nitrogen with trace amounts of methane. It's the only other place in the solar system to have an Earth-like cycle of liquids raining from clouds, which flow across the surface to fill lakes and seas, before then evaporating back into the sky. Unlike Earth, this rainfall is not water-based but consists of hydrocarbons such as liquid methane and ethane. Titan's Earth-like qualities is why it was chosen by the Systems Alliance as the training ground for hostile environmental assault training. Before the war, it was conducted at Fort Charles Upham, but the Reapers destroyed the fort in the opening salvo before landing at Huygens Dome to harvest the colonial population. Yep. So everything is getting destroyed by the Reapers. Jupiter. Jupiter's deep gravity well and lethal radiation have kept it and the Galilean moons from being significantly exploited. The largest outpost was Binary Helix Corporation's Nautilus facility, attached to the underside of Europa's vast ice sheet. But this was evacuated in the weeks prior to the invasion after suspected sabotage. Read more in Serpent's Daily News. The Reapers have bypassed Jupiter in their pursuit of more populated targets. As such, the Galilean moons have become a temporary haven for those refugees that have been incapable of escaping beyond the Charon relay. Okay, Jupiter, not terribly interesting. Microbes on Jupiter, also not terribly interesting. Venus. With its molten temperatures, sulfuric clouds, and crushing carbon dioxide atmosphere, Venus was not a strong prospect for colonization. The Reapers destroyed a handful of aerostat research outposts from orbit. I guess they had nothing better to do. Mercury. A handful of solar power stations exist on peaks of eternal light at the north and south poles of Mercury. The difficulties imposed by the planet's proximity to the Sun and high orbital velocity have limited development. There were 340 people on Mercury. Uranus. After the development of Mass Effect FTL drive, the distant Uranus was the target of a land rush to exploit its combination of plentiful helium-3 fuel and shallow gravity well. In the following decades, Uranus became the largest producer of helium-3 in Systems Alliance space. Over 60% of all helium-3 mining stations were established by Alpha Ashland Energy, who reinforced Alliance garrisons with the EAE First Fleet. The Reaper's arrival changed the fortunes of all that invested in Uranus. Both the Alliance garrison and EAE First Fleet were swept away in the opening salvo, and all mining operations have been destroyed with the exception of one. Sakharov Station remains suspiciously intact. Capital is Sakharov Station with 371,000 population. Estimated as pre-invasion, but probably still like that. Curious. And this time we cannot probe Uranus. Neptune. Neptune is one of Sol's two ice giants and is the coldest and densest of the two. Though Neptune, like Uranus, has plentiful helium, its remoteness made it an unpromising target for mining corporations before the development of the Mass Effect drive. Even with the advent of FTL, with Uranus cheaper to exploit, it has never seen extensive development. The only permanent human presence is the Lazel's research facility on the surface of Triton, the fate of which is unknown. Population was only 70, wow. And there's Pluto. After its discovery in 1930, 20th century astronomers concluded that Pluto was an inert dead planet. Yet, as mankind explored the cosmos, their insight changed. A world of mountains, nitrogen ice plains, and red snowfall, Pluto was far from dead. After the discovery of similar worlds in the Kuiper Belt, Pluto was reclassified as one of Sol's numerous ice dwarf worlds. In the modern era, Pluto is of note for being the gravitational anchor for the mass relay to Arcturus. Pluto and the Charon relays, formerly encased in ice and considered a moon, orbit each other. As a side effect of the mass relay recovery operations in 2157, Pluto's orbit was circularized. The Reaper invasion has not been kind to Pluto. Wreckage from the decimated Alliance First Fleet pollutes the icy surface, and all the Charon gateway stations have been destroyed. There are no known survivors. Yes, so indeed, the game's updated the knowledge that we have about it. Which is also funny because since then we also got new photos from Pluto and Charon, which unfortunately seems to confirm that it's not a mass relay. Oh well, we had hopes. And And then we also have Gagarin Station. Gagarin Station, or Jump Zero. Gagarin Station, colloquially known as Jump Zero, was the furthest human-made structure from Earth prior to the discovery of the Charon Relay. Constructed nearly 80 astronomical units from Sol, double the distance of Pluto, it housed a population of approximately 9,000 people, and was used for deep space telemetry, exploration, and conducting experiments too dangerous to do near more expensive assets. In the early years of biotic research, the station served as the biotic acclimation and temperance training facility, but a safe place to evaluate emergent biotic humans, like Kaiden. Without any significant defenses and with no warning, the Reapers quickly destroyed the station before it could be evacuated. So, how does scanning work?
I found something.
Something has been found. It's credits. Nice. 10,000 credits in salvage. And we got a codex entry about Gagarin Station. And 100% on Gagarin Station. Game saved. Let's save again. And I just want to show what happens if we try to scan while we're here. While the Reapers are here.
Signal confirmed. Escape and evade mode activated. Reapers alerted. Evacuate system. IFF compromised. Full retreat necessary. Reapers, retreat from the system.
Yep. They get very annoyed at you, and they try to murder you. They touch the Normandy and you're dead. Well, we have other things that we can go to, like the Arcturus stream. But the things that we scanned remain scanned. So as long as you remember where you went to, and then you do some things, then it works out fine. Okay, but that will be all for now, and let's just read some more things from our journal. So we can read one more vocational code. A. Infantry Space Rated. Naval Marines. In order to qualify for an A ranking, one must have completed qualification through either a B5 or undergo special combat training with equivalent background, such as former mercenaries, etc. A7 requires completion of the Hostile Environment and Survival course and is the prerequisite rating for entering the Special Forces. Cool. Systems Alliance. Alliance News Network. Founded during the early decades of human space expansion, the Alliance News Network was originally a low-profile news organization, known mostly for a series of exposés on the First Contact War. With a focus on galaxy-wide reporting, the ANN opened bureaus or planets across known space, winning a few awards for excellence and earning a multi-species audience. The Alliance News Network has never been funded by the Systems Alliance, despite what its name might imply. This led to regular confusion among those not in the know, although the network's recent high-profile sale to a media conglomerate made the ownership structure clearer. The new management has opted for a more sensational approach. This is particularly obvious from changes to its roster of reporters, with a few of the network's luminaries retiring or joining other news organizations. The network's increasingly lurid programming has gained wide attention, as well as sorely needed ratings. All the proof that management needed to validate its course. Nonetheless, ANN insists that integrity and credibility are inviolable standards in the newsroom. Battlespace is among ANN's highest rated programs, known for a particularly titillating breed of reporting. Among the show's most noteworthy segments are Deanna Allers's dispatches from the front lines. The network calls her reports gritty and realistic, but she has been criticized for her unabashed focus on the violence of war. Even critics of Allers agree, however, that despite her often graphic visuals, The facts she reports are just that. Facts. And then we have Systems Alliance. Military Doctrine. I think we already have this. But apparently, on defense, the human military is a rapid reaction force that lives by Sun Tzu's maxim: he who tries to defend everything defends nothing. Garrisons are intended for scouting rather than combat, avoiding engagement to observe and report on invaders using drones. Yeah. Military jargon, well, I think we also have this. Military ranks, we also know this, more or less. Enlisted, CO officers. So they're generally using Star Trek ranks, with Major apparently being equal to Captain, and General to Rear Admiral. And then Interplanetary Combatives Training, ICT, is the Systems Alliance premier school for leadership and combat expertise. The Interplanetary Combatives Academy, sometimes called N-School or the Villa, recruits officers from every branch of Earth's military to partake in grueling courses in Villa Militaire in Rio de Janeiro. Initially, the candidates train for more than 20 hours per day, leading small combat teams through hostile terrain with little sleep or food. Trainees who do well are awarded an internal designation of N1 and are invited to return. Subsequent courses, N2 through N6, are often held off-planet and include instruction in zero-G combat, military freefall, parachuting, jetpack flight, combat diving, combat instruction, linguistics, and frontline trauma care for human and alien biology. The highest grade of training, N6, provides actual combat experience in conflict zones throughout the galaxy. If the trainee survives these scenarios in admirable and effective fashion, he or she finally receives the coveted N7 designation. N7 is the only ICT designation that may be worn on field or dress uniforms. There is little shame in failing an N course. The training is so extreme that even qualifying for N1 elevates an officer to a position of respect. The universal prestige of merely attending the academy helps to restrain trainees from taking excessive risks in pursuit of higher honors. Although ICT qualification by itself does not guarantee high rank, those officers who are able to complete the program are typically well suited to senior leadership positions. Alright, cool. So that will be all for now, and see you next time once we continue exploring the galaxy. Later.